All right. Hello and welcome to this episode of Boomer and Degen. I'm your host Biz, coming at you live with co-founder Andy of Crypto Hub HQ. Andy, how's it going? How's your night? How's your headache?
Well, as you can see, I've got my glasses on, so
Oh,
the eyes are recovering. They're not perfect, as I think I mentioned. It takes about 3 days ish, right, to fully recover from this vestibular migraine thing. This is day three, so hopefully by tomorrow I'll be back on track. But at least I am wearing my glasses again. But if I try mess about and try focus on things where I shouldn't, and then can't see in the distance, so anyway, it's a thing. It's a thing. You
mhm.
get used to it, and I've got a normal headache now, so paracetamol fixes that. But other than that, it, it is what it is. We've all got something to complain about, right?
Yeah, that's right. But it's good to know that things are improving, as opposed to the market health. I mean, I think Bitcoin did a little pullback. I was a little bit busy today. I did come back from a birthday dinner, my own
Yeah.
birthday.
Oh,
So,
is it?
well,
Hey.
it was yesterday.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well,
yeah.
you didn't
So
mention that on the stream yesterday.
no, I didn't. I was worried about the birthday wishes and the songs and all that. So no, we were going through technical difficulties, so I got sidetracked anyways.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah,
Well,
but
anyway,
anyhow, yeah, let's
belated
take.
happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, what's going on with Bitcoin? I mean, like yeah, it looked like when the fair value gap got mitigated, we saw continuation to the downside. Although my one trade played out not bad, but I kind of sold early for a 20% gain when I could have hang in there for I don't even want to talk about it, but yes, it went up a lot. So anyhow, I think I gotta have some thicker skin when it comes to meme coins.
Which coin was it? One of ours or one of your crazy meme coins?
Well, it was one that was like crazy momentum. That was a lot of hype with it. Jail stool.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
You know,
mentioned that.
for me, I just gotta say, I was part of this run at least once, and I feel
Right.
good. Make myself feel relevant sometimes.
Okay. Well, let's check
Yeah.
out the market. As you can see, the short term is looking healthier than yesterday, but I'm afraid it's not all good news. So let's have a look at this. As you can see, we're back on this. The price is right over this point of control here, which is why it's like an orange color because the price is right on top of it. It's red over yellow. So, but effectively, if we're on the day chart now, right? But if you go down to the 4 hour, what you can see is we're just making lower highs all the time, right? That's what we're doing. We're making lower highs. So, and there's reasons for this, right? We'll go through our usual culprits, which have actually gone up a little bit. If we go to this has gone up to 49 from 45, I think, was it?
Mhm.
Um, and uh, and this has gone all the way up to 40 today, but down from up from 35. If I kind of go here, you can see we've had an uptick down here. Um, but we're still in neutral territory. Now, why is this? Because, hang on a sec, yesterday the CPI came out, right? The
That's right.
core, and it wasn't good. So it's at 3% when they were expecting 2.9. The US core CPI is at 3.3, they were expecting 3.1. So inflation's gone up. Now, the Trump people are saying this is still all Biden's fault, it's not ours. But I would say that is not particularly true. But if we go to here, it's what they say that the economy is hot, right? The economy is hot. So the CPI is at 0.5 when they expected
Is it
0.
hot like that profile pic, right?
Uh, yeah, I suppose so. And then CPI core 0.4% up, but they expected 0.3. The year on year, there's 3, they expected 2.9, and the core 3.3, and they expected 3.1. And what is also interesting is there was an interview, I think it was Powell was in front of one of these committees, right?
Mhm.
And he was talking about, they were asking him the question about quantitative easing. And he was saying, well, we're nowhere near, if you watch this video, we're nowhere near quantitative easing, right? And the
Mhm.
reason for that is that if you look at this
Wait, hold
Fed,
on. Just to pause this a little bit. Quantitative easing is when they start sending out the stimmy checks, right? To
no, it's when they
stimulate the
start,
economy, or is
no,
that
it's when they
tightening?
start, it's when they start printing money,
Yeah,
quantitative.
that's
And
easing.
what they do,
Yeah,
they print it, they print it, and they borrow on it. And if you look at this, if you remember the last CPI before Christmas, people were a bit upset that they said there were going to be like 3 rate changes in 2025 originally, and then they
yeah,
downgraded that to 2. But it's
yeah.
looking like now there's going to be one, only one, if any, right? So because we're currently sat at like whatever it is, 4.25%, whatever the American exchange rate is, it's not until at least September, October that they're going to think about lowering the exchange rate. Now, I know that Trump is wanting to lower the exchange rate, sorry, the interest rate, not exchange rate, the interest rate.
Mhm.
But as he says, as Powell says in this, if I just re- send you back to this, I don't know if you can hear it, but let me know.
Good old Jerome. Oh, you probably have to turn up the volume on your end.
Okay, it's about as loud as I can make it. So, but what he's saying is that quantitative easing is only something they use when they can't cut the interest rates anymore.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense because why would they do quantitative easing now when they have to borrow against it and they'd be borrowing at 4%?
Mhm.
Whereas if they're down to 0.5% or 0%, they're borrowing very cheaply,
Yeah.
right? So there's no way you can do 2 at once. The other analogy is it's like driving down the highway and having your foot on the gas and the brakes at the same time.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
you just
how was this even a discussion point?
because Trump is sort of beginning to demand that Powell lowers interest rates. And the only reason Trump's doing it is because he'll be able to have a soundbite. I lowered interest rates, right?
Ah,
That's it. But you can't lower interest rates when inflation is higher than you expect. You know, it's gonna run out of control before you know it. So the bottom line is America has an inflation problem, and it's the highest single month rise in many months, right? So it's the highest rise that they've had for a long time, and it's kind of to be expected, right? There's
yeah.
so much uncertainty.
Well,
Yesterday, this Hegseth geezer, who used to be a Fox News host, who is now like in his administration with zero experience. But he's basically said that they're no longer backing Europe. They're not going to support Europe. And it's like, well, okay. So, we were talking yesterday about the BRICS nations are going their own way. Europe now, van der Leyen was on some kind of, in the European Commission saying, we have to go our own way. So what's happening is that Trump is very isolationist, right? He's wanting to take everything back to America. He can't see why they should fund NATO, which is very short-sighted, but he doesn't see why they should, because he just sees America over here as this kind of, we're a long way away from any problems. Europe has a massive problem with Russia because Ukraine is there. They've
yeah.
also said Ukraine can't join NATO and all this kind of stuff, right? He's effectively capitulated to Putin. And so the rest of the world is going, okay, now we know we've got 4 years of this. We're going to go our own way. And I think you said you had, when I said yesterday that China's going to be the big winner here, you
Yeah.
said you had some news on this?
Yeah, well, I did. There was a headline that came in that talked about how, amidst all of this trade war and all that, since January of this year, the Hang Seng Index, which measures all the Chinese companies, went up like 17%. Or sorry, jumped 13%.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean that's very positive for Chinese stocks, Chinese equities, and that's a quite a bullish sign overall that the trade tariffs
It
hasn't
won't be.
really impacted
It's not
China.
many years from now. It's not long from now before China becomes the largest economy, like in the world, right? And once that starts happening, well, you can see it happening. America's on the decline. China's on the way up.
Mhm.
All the other nations are going to start moving across that way. And once they start moving away from the states, particularly because Trump's saying you've got to build it here, come here, come here, nobody's going to do that. It's too expensive. Um, then the world is going to move away from the dollar. I mentioned this yesterday. So there's going to be a pivot away from the dollar. I'm not sure which currency it's going to be yet. Is it going to be the one or something? I don't know. But when you get big countries like India, Indonesia, China, they're all doing stuff together.
You
There
know,
was a rumor.
this is a big problem because once you start to say things like that, what ends up happening is that the value of the US dollar starts to drop quite significantly. And
Yeah,
if it drops too fast and sharp, what ends up happening is most people lose confidence in keeping their money in the banks. And if you get
yeah.
into a situation where people start to go to the banks and start withdrawing, you effectively are going to have a like a
And you're,
situation, like a bank run situation, similar
Mhm.
to what happened when the crypto markets went down because of FTX back then,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that affected the medium-sized institutions or the banks. Now we're talking about massive, like we're talking like the Chase and Wells Fargo of the space.
yeah,
If we're talking about moving away from the U.S. dollar as the world currency,
yeah.
that's very concerning. That is very
Well,
concerning.
I think it's just a natural. I talked the other day about the British Empire rose and fell, and all these
No,
empires
yeah,
come
yeah,
and
that's
go.
right.
I watched a video, a history type video about empires, about financial empires, and they said the 19th century Britain was the financial empire, the 20th century the United States,
Yeah.
the 21st century is going to be somewhere in Asia like China, and whether America thinks they can control that or not, which they can't. Another thing that I was watching in the news was that Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and Great Britain are thinking of forming their own financial pact as well because
Yeah.
they're still part of the what do they call it?
What?
The not
No?
the British the word has gone from my head, but the Commonwealth, right?
Oh
They're
yeah.
all part of the British Commonwealth, right? So Canada has our king, right?
That's right.
Australia has our king, right? And so they're all looking now to go, well, hey, we've got this Commonwealth of nations, which was actually a very smart thing to do when the British Empire fell. They set up the Commonwealth, so they all kept the same king, and they've all got very similar laws. Canada's laws are very similar to England's laws. Australia's are very similar as well, right? Um, so they're looking to set up their own financial stuff now that the UK is out of Europe, all right? So Europe's going to have to sort themselves out. So everybody's effectively now saying, well, you can't rely on America anymore, and so therefore we have to start changing things. So America's got their own internal problems, right, with inflation. That's without a shadow of a doubt. Now, how does this affect us? It affects us because this usual 4-year cycle, and again, I mentioned this the other day on the stream, right? The usual 4-year cycle seems to be going out of the window because what they say is that when quantitative easing starts, that's when the altcoin season starts, right? And if that's not this year, if they're not even going to start cutting interest rates till end of this year, next year, then quantitative easing isn't going to kick in for God knows how long. So there's a good chance this cycle could last much longer, right? If it hasn't already
Mm.
topped out, right, based on global stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, who knows? So we're in an uncharted territory when it
Back
comes to
west.
yeah, we're literally in uncharted territory. So we don't know, right? But I was watching. I've always had great respect for the guy called Ran, who runs Crypto Banter, right? Because he tends to speak a lot of common sense to me, right? he's not a typical meme dive in feet
I'll tell
first
you
DJ.
what, he's matured a lot since his early days because he
He
used
has,
to be like the Sapporo of crypto back in the days. I remember.
yeah,
I wasn't a
yeah,
big fan of Rand, but he's leveled up a lot, and so yeah, I respect his content game now.
yeah, and I just watched one of his streams, and something he said made me go ha, because what he said is, these people that all went into memes are now all getting wrecked to death, and you can see that if you go into any coins like I don't know, Trump coin, right, and then zoom out, you can just see you're getting wrecked. I don't give a shit what you think. You get ones that you were in yesterday. They do exactly what Trump coin did. But I didn't pick on Trump deliberately. I could have picked on any of them, but and now look at them, right? Now look at them. And what he said was, however, if you are smart and you learn how to trade, then you're making money in this market regardless. And that brings us all the way back to what we do, right? Which is all our thing is we simply trade what is in front of us. And our entire alerts are set up to simply tell us which coins are looking interesting right now that we can go have a look at. And what I
Yeah,
tend to do is, like if you get a coin that looks to be, having say bullish fair value gaps, even when Bitcoin is going down on the 15-minute, if you go to some of these, I don't know what ALXC is or whether it's on my exchange. No, it isn't, but let's just try it anyway. ALX, have
what
I
is
done that
going
right?
on? I think Binance is like going. It's like that ecosystem is just popping off,
Yeah,
like the pancake token
so you can
especially.
see that again. We go down to the 15-minute. It's not kind of following the kind of Bitcoin trend, right? And effectively, if you look at this alert that I've got in here that I did yesterday, it's finding those coins. It's kind of a complex algorithm. Oh, hang on a sec. Did I just show that same coin? No, no, no. ICLX. Um, but alpaca. So these coins, we've got alerts that will tell you what's rising fast uh, and only falling less if you're going long. We'll tell you which coins are rising when Bitcoin is falling, right? So if Bitcoin's pulling back and you're not someone who likes to go short, you can trade these coins when Bitcoin is falling. And then we have the opposite of that, right? The bearish ones for those coins where they're going down, but then they get into a fair value gap, so you get a chance to get a new entry. So all we care about, right, which is exactly what we're all about, is which coins to trade. Now, this one of the slight improvements I'm going to make to say these two is I'm going to add another set of columns where if they've already come into outperforming BTC, if they've already just come into this new one when I launch it, things like this, they'll also have a tick. So you'll see you've got double, triple confluence, right, on certain coins. So our whole thing is about trading, and I know that certain coins like Cookie, for instance. If you look at this came in. I think it came into this alert earlier, but it's also been in our alerts today. Cookie is going up when Bitcoin is going down, both on the 15-minute table. So again, what you can do is, well, the way I like to do these alerts is I don't have many in here now. In fact, one or two of these are still here from yesterday. And also because of this problem, I decided to not trade for 3 days, right? Because looking at candles can really hurt your eyes. But once you find a coin that is doing well, right, you literally can just literally like pick this one, right? And it's coming back to this fair value gap all the time. And you can just go for 3% each time,
Mhm.
right? Just 3% up, 3% down. And then obviously, if you got in this time, you'd have gone up quite a lot. But again, it's going to come back down, right? It's probably mitigated this fair value gap here now. We can't see it. If I turn off these order blocks and I don't have mitigation lines turned on, just to keep my chart clean. Oh yeah, so it was mitigated here. You can't really see it much. You might not be able to see it on the stream, but there's lines here, and that's why it keeps coming back to that line. And you could have traded it again. So the great thing about these alerts is you don't have to like have a watch list full like this and go through 100 charts trying to figure out which one is the right one to trade. And once you've got a couple and you want to do some trades, you just use that couple, right? And if they're coming again saying they've switched, they're not rising fast anymore, they're falling fast now, then you might want to switch your coin. But from our point of view, what we've got here is amazing opportunities. And this is what Rand was saying, is that if you're a trader and you understand how to trade, then you can make money at the moment, regardless of what's going on at the kind of larger level of the market, right? It doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think we're in for a rough time and an elongated time before all these people saying the bottom's in and all of this kind of stuff. Buy now and
No one's saying. Everyone's keeping their mouth shut these days.
well, they keep getting kicked up the arse every time they say the bottom's in, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and if you take the broader picture and you look at the bigger world, the world is in like it's not been in this much turmoil for a very, very long time. And it's all caused by one or two things and one or two people, right? And it's sad, but that's amazing how much control and chaos can be caused just by one or two people. And it's but again, as traders, we don't really care. We just ride it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying that you don't go short very much. Is that right?
I just I mean I have to refine that craft a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, because like I haven't been getting that much success shorting. But then again, it's either I jump in too early or it kind of like we get a fake breakout and it stops me out, and then it does, and then you see yeah, okay, so this right here looks pretty good. The only problem is that I would have missed the trade if I'm considering getting in right now. I mean, what I could do is as it's touching the bearish fair value gap, I could probably
Yeah.
get in and set a tight stop. But like the last few times I've been doing that, it's just I've been getting stopped out. So I haven't found the sweet spot yet. But
So this all comes down to where do you get in, right? So
I mean,
sometimes sometimes you don't. If you wait for it to go inside the fair value gap. So if you go, say if you put it there, if you're going short
not.
now, that stop there is 0.5%, which is probably not bad, right?
Mm,
But again, what are you chasing, right? Are you chasing with this one? You don't get a massive amount of profit, right? So this is another
yeah,
thing. The movements are not big, so this is not
no,
a coin I would pick, right?
no.
Whereas if you go to, let me have a look at another one. Um, this one was very good the other day, right? But even if you look at this little move it's put in here, that's 2.783%, just that small move, right?
See, it's like
So
it's identifying um the points of weakness on price action before the breakdown. So as it was consolidating, and we see the lower highs, but it was also holding that as support.
yeah,
There's something like as that a lot of traders been mentioning is that the more it touches support, it's bound to break, and three touches, and usually it's going down. So it's kind
yeah,
of like, but you see here, 1, 2, 3 on the fourth one it went down. So
yeah.
so
So
yeah,
so this is true. So there is some truth to that, right? That if it comes into here, like it comes back to this fair value gap, if it had come in and gone straight up, then you know you've got some strength there. If it keeps coming down, like it's broken into this fair value gap, but it's only gone about halfway, right? And it appears to be holding the line there quite a bit, right? It's touching that 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, there is a chance now that that's now basically weaker. But when you go down to the 5 minute, there's another level down here that's not been touched yet, right?
yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Hang on a minute. Let me get rid of that. I wondered why I couldn't move that. There's another level down here, right? So even if it breaks down, you can, again, this is when it comes back to patience, right? It comes back to patience, now, but also maybe this is not the right coin today.
Yeah,
If
true.
you,
I mean, this is like a heavy bullish, like
Yeah, if
bias,
you've got,
right? Because of
if
this
you've got,
move here. So we don't know how
yeah,
far the retracement might. I mean, we may not
no,
even get the retracement right away. It might take a
no.
few hours to play out.
Well, definitely. And if you've only got a few hours to trade, right, then you should be looking for those coins that you go, right, what's happening now, right? Um, AD, what is it? ARDR, is it? I keep getting those the wrong way around with these stupid symbol names. RDR, USDT. Um, so again, you look at something like that, right? Clearly coming down into this. If I go to the 15-minute, it might be yes. So you can see it came right into that this time, but this time, and I've noticed this quite a lot. If it comes in, doesn't mitigate it, and then shoots up, and then comes down and touches it again. This time, it's not stayed in it; it's bounced off it, right? So that's already got. That's again only 1%, but
Was this a
um,
bullish breaker structure or bearish?
this was a bearish, which you can see here. This one.
Yeah.
So now it's coming in back up to there, right? And sort of testing the bigger one further above it as well. But again, all I do is set alerts, because even if it did drop, let's just say you did like this coin, even if you weren't sure now, like you're just not sure of your entry, set an alert here for it going up, set another alert down here for it going down, and then just move on to the next coin, right? And do it that way. So and that's why sometimes you can't test so many coins. You can't be looking at so many
No,
coins, right?
no, they can't. You
So
get overwhelmed.
you can get easily overwhelmed. So you
Yeah.
pick the ones
You get
that are looking.
paralysis by analysis, as they say.
Yes, that is true. I mean, BSW, I don't know what the hell that is, but BSW USDT. Um, so that's one that's coming
Uh,
right down to a value gap right now, right?
yeah.
So again, for me, because Bitcoin is dropping, right? And this appears to be kind of sort of with it. I'd just set an alert here and go, right, I'm not even going to look again at that one, right? But whereas we did have Cookie, did we not? That was actually looking pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And Cookie has been doing this kind of up down pattern, going back down to fair value. You can't see this, but if I was to readjust, if I was to take this back
Yo,
here,
something is going on with Binance tokens. This is the Binance token? No, it's not, right?
BSW.
It is?
Sorry, this is Cookie. Cookie, no,
No,
this is Cookie.
not part of the ecosystem. Let me see.
I don't know. I don't know, but you can see it came down to a. You might not be able to see it, but there's a dashed red line here, where it's come back down to this, and then it's gone up, and then it's almost come back down to this fair value gap, and many times they don't quite come into them, right? So you can just set your entry somewhere, like I say, the bottom of this wick, bottom of this body here, here like this, and then you just have that say slightly below there, right, as your stop loss, and then you can chase. I don't know, as you said, just go for 2.5%, go for 3%. You don't need to be chasing 50, well, like like
Ooh.
500% trades all the time. You just don't. But that's the last half an
Oh.
hour.
Oh, this cookie actually could be a solid utility case for AI agents, actually.
All right, okay.
Yeah, because it's a utility token. So it's Cookie DAO, but but uh, holders, it guarantees that the Cookie DAO keeps gathering and indexing the growing amount of AI agent data. So it gives you valuable information that you can use. And then there's an index. You can go to cookie.fund. So I'm assuming that that's where you can create your AI agents.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then you trade it in Cookie, do you? Is that what you do?
Yeah. So they also have there's real life applications of Cookie.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cookie is the gatekeeper and fuel for the Cookie DAO data engines
Okay.
and the AI agents index.
Yeah, right. So this is one that you might move this to the top and go, right, I'm just gonna look at that. The other one that I've got at the top was Cake, because Cake was
Yeah.
one that came in. I don't know if it came into this one. If it did, it's not in there now. But Cake definitely came into ours. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it there. Pullbacks, outperforming BTC. Yeah, that's right. Just before we started the stream, outperforming BTC. So BTC is going down like this. This is definitely going up, right?
Nice,
So again,
nice
another one.
volume.
Yeah, another one where you can go, okay, it's coming into the fair value gap. So maybe now I just set some alerts, do a trade setup.
Yeah,
What's
that's
going
a
on? What's
nice
going on?
move. Nice clean breakup structure. Nice decent pullback on the daily.
Yeah. So you can just maybe go for. I mean, look at that. Even if you went to the top of that fair value gap, if it came
not
down,
bad
that's 4%.
actually, to be honest.
Yeah. So that's something. Maybe you shift that up and you wait for it. That might be the better approach, where you wait for it to catch it on the way back up, right? So you wait for it to go down a little bit, and then you catch it on that retest back up like that. But so there are, and again, these do come into our alerts.
I mean, if you look at the 15-minute chart, it's putting in a lower high if it closes here. Actually, we still got another 13 minutes before the candle close, so it might be a little bit early. But if it does end up closing and we get a lower high on the 15 minutes, that might be.
You mean just this local lower high here?
Sorry. I mean higher low. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes. So I wondered what you're on about. Yeah. So that's what it's coming down to do, right?
And like you would just set your stop right below that previous swing low at like $2.96.
That's kind of what I've done.
That's super tight stop.
Yeah. But that's why you wait for it to go down and come back up. You don't catch a falling knife, right? Or you'll go in and get stopped out immediately. All right. So you just, and this is where you kind of say, okay, I tend to put these white lines. I've got like these two little lines that I put on, one that's called entry and one that's called stop loss that I've set up. And that means then I can go down to the 5 minute and still see my entry properly. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And again, look, we've got another thing. And also what you could do is you could go to the 4 hour and see if there's a POC anywhere, just to get that extra confluences. But yeah, that looks like it again. So you've got two coins there, Cookie and Cake. That's maybe all you need for your trading session. Both came into the alerts. Wouldn't have found them otherwise. So that's why as traders, they're good. So Ran was saying, it's traders now that are
Cake
doing well.
I would have been stopped out already, right? I think if I took the trade.
You would, because you'd have gone in on the way down, right? And that's
so
why.
So I would say that Cake would probably need a little bit more time to play out.
Yeah, but that's why I don't catch them on the way down, Biz. I wait for them to go up and then come back. And in fact, sometimes what I do is, if you go, say, all the way down to, say, the 3 minute chart, I wait for them to kind of come down, and then they do that kind of thing before they go. So they're always forming even if it's each individual candle is slightly a higher low, right? I like to see patterns like that. Now, it could be that this has been influenced. Yes, right. There you go. There you go. So there comes a point where every coin, no matter what, if Bitcoin is definitely on its way down, the gravity well of Bitcoin does what we're seeing now in Cookie. But what we also know in Cookie is it is actually quite strong, right? So when Bitcoin comes down into here and then starts to go back up, I think there's a good chance Cake will do very well. It'll do very well.
Yeah, so I think Bitcoin's gonna take some time to play out, to be honest.
The whole market is, if you look at it, Bitcoin on the day chart, we're still around that POC. We haven't moved away from this POC in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. That point of control there has been around for ages, right? And if we broke down the next one, really, there are ones you can put many on, right? There's one each day. but the big one is down here, looking very likely again. Um, but at the
Retouches is
moment,
not a good sign. We really don't want it to go there.
not again, not again. If we can help it, yeah. But it didn't quite touch it the second time. You'll see we kind of went slightly higher.
No, it looks a bit sus, to be honest.
But again, we're definitely the uncertainty. Buyers, sellers are all going. I'm getting in. We're at the bottoms in. No, I'm selling. We're going
Like
down. I'm going.
like
You know,
that chart screams uncertainty.
yeah,
Like there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing certain about that chart. It doesn't look clean.
no,
Yeah, it's
no. Whereas you go to some of these other coins, like even Cookie now is not caring about the fact that Bitcoin's going down.
yeah.
So you
Okay,
find
okay. So
these.
look, like now you see this, how there's like one, and then you see. I bet you throw the RSI here. We're getting a diminishing RSI, lower highs on the RSI.
I don't use
Up here.
RSI, but I'll
Well,
put it on for
that's
you.
the only way I used to short before.
Yeah, I don't use I go by price action and
Yeah.
liquidity.
Yes.
That's where I do it, right? I don't because you can look at so many indicators and they conflict with each other. One is saying, oh, we've had a crossover of this EMA, that's good, and the RSI, but the RSI's topped out,
Okay.
and then so you don't,
Can
then
you
it
go
shoots
on? Can you go on the 15-minute?
up. Sure.
Okay.
So that's been
Okay.
fairly
Yeah. There's not enough there for me to be confident unless we
really.
get no, because we don't have higher. We got higher high, but we also got higher high on the RSI, so it doesn't tell me that we're due for a pullback. At least, unless we get a higher high on this candle, right here.
I'm just going to make this white so that everybody can see it on the stream. Uh, Um,
Right.
so there's your
There's
RSI.
yeah. Like if this candle right now puts in a higher high, then I'd be a little bit suspect in terms of price continuation to the upside.
Yeah, so what you've got here, of course, is this, and whoops, I can't get
I mean,
onto there, and this, right, as well.
yeah.
But again, I tend not to follow that. I tend to follow price action, but um, I used to put RSI on, and I used to put EMAs on, and all of that kind of shit, right? But I just find that the alerts that we do, if
Yeah.
where's Cookie come up into our alerts? Cookie USD2, bullish fair value gap, pullbacks, rising well, falling less. What this is doing is analyzing back in time and telling you, right, well, not far back because things change, right? But actually, when Bitcoin falls, this falls less, and when Bitcoin goes up, it goes up more, right? So this is more of a bullish trend than a bearish trend, and so I tend to use stuff like that, right, rather than with it, which is the
Oh,
kind of trading strategy I came up with for the alerts.
yeah.
But since only 1 hour ago, that would have had you for
Yeah, that's
4.15
decent.
percent.
That's a decent move. That was a
That's
decent
it.
move.
So maybe if it doesn't get above this high now, if this is forming a lower high, right, and the reason that might be is because
Ooh.
this Bitcoin, right,
Now that's a knife
is
right there.
starting to, yeah. So Bitcoin is pulling back. It's now 1.7675% down on the day, and the alts are slightly less, which is not bad, which is different, right? It's usually the other way around. But this, let's see if it puts in a higher high, and it's looking like it's
Yeah,
gonna.
it's pushing.
Yeah. So it's saying Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean? And that's what our alerts show you. It's like they're really great for that. And if it puts in this higher high now, if it gets up to say I don't know this level, it could be just this level. Let's say this level. Then what I'm doing is I'm looking at this fair value gap back here, this bearish one, and saying, well, this could be a level. If you want to be a bit more conservative, you could drag it down and say, right, I'm gonna just stay in until it comes down to this fair value gap here. That's it, and that's 3.68%.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'll leave that on the chart. See if that even gets anywhere close. See if it gets anywhere close to it. But again, you simply need to have the patience to let these things play out. That's it. So that's it for today, Biz. The market, we keep getting negative news, and as traders, I was glad that Ran, who I respect, confirmed this. We are kind of unaffected by it. And the nice thing about these alerts is it saves us a load of time finding coins like Cookie now.
Yeah. It's good to highlight that the major thing about choosing which token to. I mean, there's so many tokens out here, but the number one thing is that we want to know where the liquidity is moving. Like what tokens are putting in a move or has volatility, because that's what's going to dictate price action one way or another. And if you don't have that, you could be sitting in the trade for ages and it will never play out. And it's so damn boring. And it's like, dude, money sitting there not turning is just time being wasted, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why I kind of love these alerts, right?
Yeah, it's good to utilize it. All right.
What was that one?
Let's
BSW,
go.
I put that on slightly earlier.
50x that short. No,
I said you wait for it to come back down to this fair value gap, and that's what it's done.
I thought the alert was triggered was the short on Cookie.
No, it's BSW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, Cookie, I've not put an alert on. I've just put an entry on to see if it'll play out.
Did you get rejected?
No. We're still heading up to the entry, like I suggested. So what I've done is put the entry right on this tiny little fair value gap that you might not be able to see on the stream. And you could even lower that to say there as well, which will be tight stop. But again, I don't catch them. Let me just drag this down, Biz. I wouldn't go in now. I kind of wait for this kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, it's so hard with these shorts. Like it tends to do like a V shape
no, it
correction.
Can do. You can see, as you've seen it do, but here.
Oh yeah, like that one, it was a little bit better, but
yeah, right. So they're not always V's. They certainly can be. That last one was.
Hell there.
We're in our entry now. What did I say? We're in our entry now. So either it's going to keep going, but at some point we know it's going to have a natural pullback to a fair value gap. It might even form another fair value gap now, and if it does, then you move your kind of entry and your profit taking position.
Yeah.
Right. So look, it's gone into there now. If you go on to the
so the 5 minutes shows a lower RSI, right? So
yeah, well, as I say, I don't use RSI, but you could go down to the 1 minute, but that's right down to the 1 minute. But anyway, the thing is that from a trading point of view, these coins, the way that we get these alerts really helps us and saves us time on and the trading strategy. If you watch the videos, right, in terms of doing your setups like I've just done here. Now, obviously, normally I go straight to the exchange, I open this, and I put the entry, the stop loss, and the profit target in. Depending on the amount of money I'd lose in my stop loss, I might adjust my leverage, or I might trade less. And if the stop loss is not a lot, I might trade more. So stuff like that. So that's what I do. But just the patience to wait is the key. And if you miss it, you miss it. You just catch it. You catch it as it comes down to get the next long. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's coming again, Biz. It's coming again.
What the heck is going on with Bake?
With what?
Bake
Bake?
just did 77%.
Bake?
Uh-huh.
That rings a bell, Bake. Um, do, 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 do. Oh no, this is might not come up in that alert. Is that in our system, Bake?
Yeah, it
It rings
is. Well,
it
it's
rings a
also
bell.
it's in the retrace, but it looks like it's a break of structure to a bearish break of structure.
What do you mean by? Oh, do you mean
I
it's
mean,
got this
it
massive
looks.
jump here? Yeah,
Yeah. It made a significant move earlier today.
yeah. Yesterday at my
Oh yeah.
time, yeah, at 90%, yeah,
Ooh, wow.
90%. So it came in a second time. So now you would have. It's not come into my. And this is where sometimes you put your entries slightly in the wrong place and you miss out, right?
No, I feel
You
like this
could.
is a nice shorting opportunity potentially.
Yeah. It's either we've now either missed it, or
Oh
or
yeah, it's gonna break.
it's gonna come one.
That's my
Well, this is still going, you see. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Biz,
that's
we've been on the stream a long time, but
yeah. Cool.
I'll
All
keep
right.
my eye
Yeah.
on this.
No, for sure. Well, yeah. That's thank you everybody for watching. That's it. That's all we got for today. I am Biz with Andy, coming with you with another episode of Boomer and Degen. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. I know the markets can be a nifty one, but we'll be doing this in the trenches, doing it in short-term trades, and I think that's just the strategy moving forward. If you guys haven't done so already, give us a follow. We would appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to get access to these tips and insights for yourself, join our server. Let us know that you've followed us on Twitter, and we'll give you access to all the channels right away. All right, tomorrow we'll be back one more time before the weekend. And Andy, before we close it out, is there anything you want to say?
Yes, and it's completely unrelated, but I've already done my thinking about this. Just for you guys, just in case you have partners, and we all forget because we're shit. Us men are shit. Valentine's Day tomorrow,
Oh,
so
I got
just
headphones on. I'm good. Don't worry.
you want to have a happy weekend.
And not just a happy weekend.
All right, happy next year.
Yeah.
See you. Happy trading, everybody. See you
Cool.
tomorrow.
Thanks, though. That's the alpha. Don't forget Friday, guys. Peace out. Have some fun. Go touch some Valentine's cards. Peace out.